given a speech and afterwards you thought, wow, that went well? You felt like you bonded with the audience. It's a good feeling, isn't it? Have you ever given a speech and afterwards you dreaded getting your evaluation? You thought, wow, that was something. What's the difference? One's like a day at the beach. The other is like a dark and stormy night. The difference was, when you were at the beach, you connected with your audience. You established a rapport. And today, I'm going to share with you 5 advanced speaking techniques that will help your next speech be more powerful. The first is body language. Have you ever seen a speaker whose body language didn't match their gestures? I'm going to share with you 5 advanced speaking techniques. You picked that up right away. Keen awareness for the obvious, I got to tell you. The worst is, I'm so excited to be here with you today. I can't tell you how much this speaking opportunity really has empowered me. No, because the body language doesn't match the words. There are 3 areas in body language you need to be aware of. And Jose was an excellent example. Wow, what a great face, right? I mean, he just kind of lit up when he was talking. The second one is one Jose will work on, and that's hands. Because you had them planted behind you. You want to free them up, and the correct neutral position, tell your thumbs touch the side of your legs.
Oh, wow.
Thumbs at the side of your legs. This is the neutral position. Then when you go to make a gesture, it becomes more natural. This is distracting because it's so close to your face. And then in my club, we call this Mussolini hands. So our day at the beach, the B will be body language. The E is eye contact. How long should you maintain eye contact? This is the audience participation portion of the presentation.
2 seconds. 3 to 5 seconds.
Scan the room.
Until you finish your thought?
One complete thought. Now the problem with scanning the room, it becomes like a machine gunner. You just spray the audience. Complete a thought. Now one lady said to me, maybe 10 seconds? And I said, okay, that's 1001, 1002, 1003. She said enough. Right? It's not a formula. One complete thought, and then you make eye contact with someone else. As you move around the room, you make eye contact. Every person in the room should feel like you were talking directly to them at some time during the speech. So the E is eye contact. The A is actually move. It sounds kind of weird, but in your speech, I came to America from a foreign country. When you discuss moving or movement words, move. Use a different portion of the stage. Now the very center is the narrator position. When I'm talking to you and giving you information, I'm at the narrator position, front center. The rest of the time when I'm giving a speech and I'm telling my stories, I should use a different part of the stage. So you use the entire speaking area. Actually move. The C for our day at the beach is create dialogue. And this is where you can add and uncover so much humor in your speech. Once again, I'm going to go back to Jose. Several times, what was the really fun part of his speech? One of the really great parts?
The salary.
Right, when he's going in and he's talking about, well, after 5 weeks, I went in to talk to him. They called me in. They said, well, how much do you want to make? And he said, well, this is a very technical job. That was dialogue. And you see how much fun it was. And the cool thing in dialogue is you can say things you cannot get away with as a speaker. For example, my buddy Joe. Joe went out on a date the other night and Joe said, you know, this girl was so ugly. Now, she couldn't help being ugly, but she could have stayed home. Oh, yeah. See, if I had told that instead of my buddy Joe, you would not have tolerated that from me. But when you put it in dialogue, You can say things and it becomes very humorous as well. Okay, so that's the C. The H is holograms. And holograms is when you move to a different part of the stage and you create a vivid picture image. And as long as you don't walk back through that picture image, later in your speech, you can call back to it. There was an elderly man who was sitting on a train. When the conductor came in to collect the tickets, the elderly man started searching for his ticket, and he checked his pants, and he checked his overcoat, and he checked his overnight bag, and finally he looked at the conductor and went. The conductor was quietly laughing to himself, and finally feeling sorry for the old man, he reached over and he plucked the ticket out of the old man's mouth. And laughing to himself, he left the car. The old man sat down, and the young man sitting in front of him said, "I bet you feel like a fool." And the old man said, "Certainly not. I was chewing off the date." Now, I love that story, but what makes it funny? Can you see the old man searching through? I'm creating a hologram here, and then later I could call back and I could say, just like the old man, sometimes you have to do things a little differently. You can call back to your story when you're getting to your call to action. As Jose said, this is one of the best countries in America. You can call back to that position. You can call back to that conversation when he was applying for a job. And you begin to understand, the audience will immediately visualize. Now, in 2007, I was competing for world champion of public speaking. International stage. 2,500 people. They tell you, Darren LaCroix, 2001 world champion, said, "Oh, you can't see past the first 2 or 3 rows. It'll be dark." 9 o'clock in the morning, I could see the last person, some of my club members way in the back. I talked about being a mentor. Have you ever wondered who mentored Einstein? It was a man named Max Talmud. He was a medical student, and the Einsteins would invite the hungry students to come eat with them. Max Talmud gave Einstein his old school books, his old math books, and Einstein worked his way through them. My mentor was my high school physics teacher. He was also my Boy Scout master and my dad. In my speech, at the end of it, I said, what is important is the mentor, like Max Talmud, like my dad. And I literally saw 2,500 people look over at that spot. They saw my dad, and they looked back at me. I had created a hologram that I could refer back to. The next time you're giving a speech, remember these 5 techniques: body language, eye contact, actually move, create dialogue, and holograms. And your next speech will be more purposeful, powerful, and a great presentation. Madam Toastmaster.